Hello and welcome back to the channel, folks. It is finally time. If you have been waiting for bears, for axe guns, and for the Motherland, then it is time. Finally, we get to get our hands on Kislev. This was going to be the first campaign I showed you all when they gave me access to the game, and then I saw CA's schedule for the embargoes, and my heart sunk. It was terrible, because Kislev is what I have really been looking forward to. Now, it doesn't mean I'm not enjoying the other factions in this game. I absolutely am. I have a Tzeentch playthrough going on. You all should go check it out. And this one is going to be very similar to the Tzeentch playthrough. There's going to be another cinematic campaign that I'm going to be putting on. And I will be showing the battle footage from a replay perspective so that you all get to enjoy the beautiful visuals. And I can do a better job explaining the strategy that I was going through rather than me trying to micro it live. Now, I have already played the Kislev campaign all the way through on normal when I first got access to the game. It was a lot of fun. It recommends this as one of the first campaigns. I do not. I don't know why they made this recommendation. Maybe from a story standpoint. This campaign is significantly harder than Cathay. It's not impossible, but it is harder. You've got enemies all around. There will be chaos stacks everywhere. The other Kislevite factions aren't nice to you at the beginning, as you'll see. And there's a lot of other potential problems that you can run into. So, yeah, we're going to play it. I'll let you see it for yourself. All I know is this is not a recommended first campaign by me, unless you are a more seasoned player. And if you are, don't underestimate this one, because I remember my first playthrough was normal, and I actually got a challenge from a normal campaign, and that's probably the first time I can say that in a decade from a Total War game. We're going to be playing the campaign on hard this time because I do want more enemy stacks and more challenge. I'm going to leave the battle difficulty on normal, and the reason for this is because that is where the AI doesn't get buffs that break the balancing of the game. Eventually, yes, I will be playing campaigns where we turn up the battle difficulty as well. But that is not what this one's about, so I'm going to get this one started. I'll let you all check out the cutscene. As far as faction effects, Kislev gets devotion. The faction for Tzarina Katarin, which is the Ice Court, they get extra devotion generated when from successful Frostmaiden actions. They get extra control. They get extra hero recruit rank for Frostmaidens. The Ice Court training is quicker. They get, and then as a Lord, Katarin gets corruption lowering. She has 50% less paying of upkeep for Ice Guards, so it makes Ice Guards very good for her, and we will be making use of them. Ice Guards are fantastic units. I will get to show them to you when we get in, and then she has a reduction to her base miscast chance. So anyway, enjoy the cutscene, and I will see you all on the campaign map.
A nation in mourning. False news has arrived before me. They believe Ursun is already dead. My proposition will require a delicate touch. I speak the truth. Your god is not dead. He lies in the realm of chaos, a captive of the Shadow Lord. It is no lie. For one drop of Ursun's blood, I can help you save him.
Choose your last words wisely, old man.
Through your bloodline, you and the bear are one. See past your grief. Search your heart. Ursun is alive.
He speaks the truth. He speaks the truth. Silence! We have lost what is most precious. Many say I am at fault, that I no longer have the right to sit on this throne. So I stand. I stand with my people, all of you. And if it comes to it, I shall die with my people. We have been blinded by grief. Ursun lives, and while he fights to draw breath, we fight for him! For Ursun! For Kislev! For Ursun! For Kislev!
Ursun! Kislev! Ursun! Kislev! Ursun! Kislev! Ursun!
Kislev marches north. Into hell.
Our goal is to rescue Ursun, the god-bear of Kislev, from the clutches of Be'lakor. After fraught bargaining, my price is agreed, and I will do all I can to guide the Kislevites to their lost god.
Come then, before I change my mind and cast you into the ice. Advise me.
Your Highness, there are enemies close by that threaten your throne. If we are to save Ursun, they must be dealt with first. The Maelstrom has forced Northmen, worshippers of the Dark Powers, into Kislev lands. They have taken Kislev. Slay the trespassers. These incursions and the endless winter have sown doubt in the subjects of your burgeoning reign. Followers of the Great Orthodoxy resent your rule. Pacify such malcontents through diplomatic means or martial might. Kostaltin, the supreme patriarch of Ursun's cult, is the instigator of this rebellious feeling. He must be dealt with. If left to fester, it shall cause a schism from which Kislev will never recover. Fortunately, there are allies to be found on our borders, to the west and south. Foster alliances with the Empire and those Kislevite tribes who have always been loyal to your bloodline. There is much to do, Your Highness, if the Motherland is to be secured and your god saved. Let us begin.
Finally, here I am with you in the Kislev campaign. It's about time. So glad that we finally made it to this release. So let's show you what's going on. We got Kislev here in the background, and we've got Tzarina Katarin. Her initial army here does have a couple of ice guards, which these are the dual sword variant, which have a bonus versus infantry. Very good for kicking in against low armor or just infantry targets in general. They have frostbite weapon attacks for melee and for missiles, and their missile strength is excellent at 27, and range is pretty solid at 160. We then also have some winged lancers, which are honestly pretty depressing in terms of their melee attack and defense stats, but they're very impressive in terms of charge and decent in terms of armor. So not a bad cavalry unit for early in the game, probably not going to be great late into the game. We also get a snow leopard, which is a single entity, not a particularly strong one, but it is good against large and also has that same frostbite melee attack. It does AP as well, with a nice charge bonus, so a very quick moving creature as well. And then we've got some armored Cassars with great weapons, and then we have some armored Cassars. Cassars are going to be pistol-armed infantry, and one has axe and shield, and it's just kind of a more defensive unit. The other has a great weapon that does a little more damage because it has AP potential. Both of them have limited amounts of pistol volleys, but they're pretty brutal when units get close. They do a lot of damage. You can see the missile strength is 25. So they're interesting hybrid infantry, so that's what we're going to start with. Now, in terms of how Kislev plays, there's a few things we want to take a look at. We'll start up here with the Motherland. You get a couple of invocations for the Motherland. You have Salyuk, Daz, Ursun, and Tor. So you can pick any of these, and they each have different benefits potentially for you. It costs devotion to do one of these. Devotion is earned, whether it's with buildings, battles, fighting chaos events, hero actions, all that kind of stuff, right? And you can use it on these, or you can use it to try and block Kostaltin's Great Orthodoxy. So you're basically in a race to gather supporters with them down here. And as you get to each level of supporters, so see, once we get to 100, you start to get some bonuses with other Kislev factions, leadership, control in all your provinces, and if you win, you get the opportunity to confederate Kostaltin, and I think it's vice versa if you're playing as Kostaltin. I haven't actually gotten to play a Kostaltin campaign yet. But in any case, that's how the Motherland with invocations and supporters works, with some unique mechanics for Kislev. And beyond that, they also have an ice court. If you research the right tech, you can then open up these what do you call them, placeholders here, for either a Frost Maiden or an Ice Maiden. And when you open these, it goes through a series of turns in order to recruit them. Even though it takes turns, you get the benefit of being able to go through these dilemmas where you can pick special abilities based on the dilemma that you want them to have. So it kind of gives you an opportunity to customize your characters that are coming out of here. And ice witches can be recruited here as well, and they act as lords in a second army, whereas frost maidens are a hero. So pretty cool thing there with the ice court too. You can get some really interesting heroes out of it. We also have the Ottomans thing here at the Ottomans. These are like governors, and it's a special thing that only Kislev has. You can pick these governors once you've secured an entire province. You can put them there. They each have different benefits, and again, dilemma things pop up. You can pick which one you want to kind of customize that governor, and they can later lead an army as well, so they can do both. It's pretty neat. In any case, we can start up here. You can use these things, but I don't want to use my devotion for it. Well, actually, I will use my devotion for it yet. I'll just kind of show you. So we'll spend some devotion here. It's going to cost me 88. And if I do one right now, I kind of want to do Tor because you can see we get extra supporters generated when fighting a battle. One of these gives you extra supporters when you occupy a settlement. Another one when you gain character rank, and they have different benefits. This one gives growth and replenishment, all that kind of stuff, right? So I like Tor. If you're going to be fighting a lot of battles, it's a good way to get a lot of supporters. And you really do want to win this race. When I first played this campaign, I felt like it was impossible to win the race with Kislev. I barely won it by literally one supporter on the very last turn. But in my second practice playthrough, I started to learn a lot more about this, and I'll give you all some great tips for how to get started as Kislev. So even though this is going to be a cinematic campaign from a battle standpoint, I will be providing as many tips as I can to help you all get the best start in your Kislev campaign. All right, so here we are. I am going to go ahead. Now, typically I like to build defenses first, and some part of me kind of wants to, but we also need, well, we will, in fact. So I will go ahead and build defenses. You got a couple of different options. One of them really helps your defensive supplies and ammunition. When you're playing a siege defense, you can pick it, but I like this one here, which gives us extra garrison. So that's what we want. Then I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to build this building for growth. Now, there's a lot of other buildings I want here. We do need the... Well, actually, no. I am going to switch my thing up here. I'm going to wait on the defense. I'm going to get a little bit risky here. Wait on the defense, because it is a walled settlement. I'm going to put this building in first here, the Orthodoxy. This is going to help give me devotion and supporters every turn. And then I'm going to also turn around, and I'm going to plug in a growth building. And basically, this will put me on a good track in the supporter race, and then the growth will help me get Kislev leveled up quickly. And what I want to do is I want to be able to raise my settlement level. I don't know what just happened there. I was hoping to see the building tree. There we go. And I really want Ice Guard. Ice Guard are going to be absolutely critical. We can get them from this Tier 5 Boca Palace, or we can also get Ice Guard over here. You can see that it's going to be difficult. We have to get Kislev leveled up a great deal before we get Ice Guard. This is the quickest way, though, to unlock them, though. It's going to cost us devotion. So we need a Tier 5 settlement, and Ice Guard are going to be very, very slick. Now, in the meantime, we can still get some good units, and we'll do our best to get a hold of those units. Let's go ahead and build this building here, too, which is going to unlock Armored Cassars and Armored Cassars with great weapons. So we're going to build that, and then we're going to go fight our first battle here after we pick our technology. We get quite a few options here to start with. There's, you know, a bunch of different ways we could play this. There's some of these that give Cassars better reload and ammunition, which could be quite handy depending on what you're doing. Glacial Prism, which buffs your Ice Guard, and you do start with a couple of Ice Guard, but we're not going to get many till later. Then there's this Convalescence. I tend to like Casualty Replenishment Rate. I think it's pretty good. You can also unlock a Frost Maiden in the court, but we're not going to need one just yet. So let's go ahead and start the tech that helps us with the replenishment, and let's go attack Leif Gobranson, who is going to be the Venaheimling's leader here, who is invading in our territory. Of course, I know this isn't going to be much of a battle, but I'll fight it so you all can see some of Kislev's units up close. All right, our first opportunity to see some of the Kislevite forces on the battle map, and of course here is Tzarina Katarin waving her little ice wand there. She looks like a wind-up doll actually right now. It's kind of funny. Anyway, we've got our Ice Guard here. These dual sword wielding ice bows just look absolutely awesome. These ladies are fantastic. Great in melee. I'll let you see their stats here real quick too. So really good stats, frostbite, gonna be some good units. They're already opening fire. Up front are our armored Hussars. These men wield a pistol prior to getting into melee. Well armored, not spectacular in melee. These great weapon ones do a little more damage. And over here are our winged lancers, these beautiful high charge cavalry. Again, let you see the stats on some of these units. There's the stats on the lancers. Here's the stats on the armored Hussars. Pause it. Need to see it. And then our snow leopard is already getting some action over here against the Norskin wolves. Snow leopard is anti-large. I don't know if these count. I don't think they count as large. They don't, but he'll do fine out there against the Norskin warhounds. You can see that I am opening fire mostly on the ranged units, the Norskins, which is going to be their marauder hunters with axes. And at this point, their wolves disengaged, knowing they were going to lose to the snow leopard, and then they approach my line of Hussars. My Hussars are going to easily defeat them. We've got some Tzarina Katarin's magic coming up there. That's one of her tier attacks there. It's not terribly powerful, but it's not bad when someone gets blobbed up enough. So you can see the snow leopard get some early hits. And I'm going to get a nice rear charge in here against the Chaos Warhounds with my winged lancers. Send them running and let my Ice Guard begin pumping frost arrows into the enemy hero here. And he is also taking shots from my Hussars. These are armored Hussars too. With the great weapons, so they'll do decent damage. However, when it comes to a melee, my best bet at doing damage to the enemy lord is actually my Ice Guards. And it's because they have a bonus versus infantry, and this Norskin lord counts as infantry. He's really the only thing left. There's a couple other units regrouping in the background. They're just getting absolutely hammered when they do. I'm gonna try and get in here into melee, and I'm actually gonna give him this melee. I gave an attack order, but instead he decides to chase Tzarina Katarin. And she skates away laughing, singing "Let It Go, Let It Go." You can't catch me even when there's no snow. So here we go. Tzarina Katarin sleds away on her magical ice, and the ladies of the Ice Guard are going to give this lord a most unpleasant surprise in melee. You can see his hit points draining extremely rapidly, and that is a solid victory for us. All right, so I hope you all enjoyed that battle. Kislev is not quite what I thought they would be in melee, but I really like them. They're all about using that magic to control speed and zones, and then using your units to charge, retreat, shoot, and then like you have these dual units, like the Ice Guards there who came in at the end and just started shredding Leaf Gulbranson, so this kind of stuff's great. Now we can pull in some extra cash, replenish a little slower, or we can go ahead and take the replenishment, just get this army up to full strength, which you can also grab some extra devotion after this, which I'm not going to be in terrible need of devotion at the moment. You can see we picked some up here. We also picked up a snowflake pennant. Let's go ahead and just take the replenishment for the time being. And we're going to start moving towards the next settlement, which is Kislev. I'm going to move as far forward as I can.
One land. None shall
Say up to about this point. I did not use my invocation there, because I instead had used that money to start building this building, because we do want to start gathering supporters every turn. Every turn will count in terms of gathering supporters, so we don't want to blow any turns here. You can see we didn't get any now, but we're going to start getting them, so I just don't want to mess anything up. Let's go ahead and grab a Route Marcher. It's just a hair of extra movement we might need. And then I'm going to start working on Inspiring Presence, and I'm going to make a couple of upgrades. I'm going to focus on firing drills, and also we'll put some focus on our Ice Guard, which will in turn help Zargard, and ultimately we'll want to do some work on sleds. My favorite Kislev armies are going to involve light war sleds or heavy war sleds, Ice Guard or Streltsy, maybe some of both, and then a couple of units you're choosing that kind of just round the army off in the fashion that you want. So I'll let you see it, but basically, it makes this awesome hit-and-run army where your sleds go in, piss off the enemy, they chase you back into the waiting line of Ice Guard and Streltsy, where they get absolutely hammered by your missiles, and then the sleds roll up behind them after they've been beaten really badly by the missiles, and the sleds finish them off. Is a very effective way of fighting in the campaign. I've had extremely good luck with it, so hopefully I'll be able to get to demonstrate that for you all. We probably won't have sleds on episode 1. But we'll be working that way, so you have to be patient. Oh, I forgot to recruit units into our army. What a mistake. Fortunately for me, the enemy hasn't spent much time Recruiting either.
I will permit.
I'm gonna move forward in a encampment because I don't think we can probably quite reach them all in one turn anyway. I'll double check.
For the
We
Motherland.
can't. So we might as
must
well
be
go into
sure.
an encampment. I should have recruited a couple of units on that first turn. I did not. What we're gonna do though is we're gonna pick up several
We are both
Cassars with
servants.
spears.
You and
Early on, we're just gonna spam archers. Missile units are very effective early in a campaign. We're gonna make use of that here. Cost me a little more to do it this way because I had to use the global recruitment, so that was definitely a bit of a mistake that I shouldn't have
as
made.
Queen of Kislev.
Don't do that.
They are one people.
All right. Oh, it's a 2-turn recruitment. Crap. Yeah, I screwed up big time. So now they're recruiting more units as well. Whoops. Yeah. All right. Don't be like me. I am going to go ahead and use this opportunity, though. We're going to improve some of these buildings. This one's going to cost me some more devotion. Again, I'm going to go ahead and do it because eventually when I get up to this tier, I start getting even more devotion and supporters. Plus, it's going to unlock Patriarch recruitment for us, which would be a fun hero type. And we do want the growth here because, again, we want to level up Kislev as quickly as we can. We want to get to those Ice Guard and Bears, okay? So the more we level up, we get the Bear Sleds, we get the Ice Guards. Once you get the Bear Sleds, then you get the power, okay? That's how it works with Kislev. It's money, Bear Sleds, power, okay?
Embrace
That's
this
the
welcome
order
call,
in which you need to remember how this works.
They will
We're gonna go ahead
fall.
and assault the next settlement. It's just a minor settlement. And Kislev here has a relatively minor garrison, but sometimes the AI wants to be mean to you. Let me go show you how to win these battles pretty effectively with Kislev. We've got a few new units here this time. These are the Cassars with spears. So they're a cheap archer unit that has a spear for secondary melee that's decent against unarmored, lightly armored large units. We've got a Frost Maiden here as well. And she is going to be backing up a unit of Cassars with great weapons. I'm going to approach the settlement from kind of the same side here, but there's 2 entrances. And I picked my approach to try and get to these minor supply locations. And you can see I'm going to approach in pairs. There is going to be an enemy tower in the background. I'll knock it down with my archers quickly, and I'll use my armored Cassars to hold the entrance. The Norskins inside do have some Marauder Hunters, both with javelins and axes. A couple of javelin units, in fact, we're going to watch out for them. Now, a major part of this strategy, when you have woods, use it. Hide your Snow Leopard, hide your Wing Lancer, and as soon as the battle begins, the AI will not deploy any troops to hold you out because these were hidden. They couldn't see them. And then you run in and you move to the closest minor supply point and you start capturing. When you take a minor supply point away from your enemy, not only do they start losing their supply rate, you also start to gain some statistical advantages in melee through a system that is called, I think it's like momentum. Yeah, they call it momentum. So as you gather these points, you gather momentum and your troops start getting better in melee. And so we definitely want that. I'm going to move up here, and I'm going to start targeting the Marauder Hunters with javelins, and then we'll go for the Piercing Tower. Let you see the Marauder Hunters here. Archers can fire up and over walls. Of course, it's very handy. They did build some barricades here they were hoping to shoot at me from. I'm not going to give them too much of an opportunity here, though. You can see my archers raining death all over this Marauder Hunter with javelins, so they are not going to last long. They are low armor. They don't have a shield. And they're under a withering barrage of archers. And you can see I've actually taken my cavalry and gone straight for the key building back here in the back. So this is going to take away some supplies, start to gather some momentum. The AI is now reacting. Sometimes they react pretty good. They'll send forces after you. It's okay, stay mobile. If they send one unit, split up, charge it from the front and back and kill it. If they send multiple units like this where I can't defeat them, then just stay mobile, stay ahead of them. And if you use this strategy, you can see that I'm about to already gain some momentum here. So it's going to be really nice. And then I'm just using my archers to pick at the enemy skirmishers. And the reason for that is if you take out enemy skirmishers initially, they can't use their ammunition against you, which means that your infantry don't take any shots while you're approaching to get into melee. So you definitely want to focus enemy skirmishers first. And don't give them an opportunity. Keep an eye out for enemy towers. If you can kill them, kill them. Otherwise, just focus on taking away that supply point and it'll kill the tower for you. But don't let the tower sit there and fire at you for too long. I do want to do a bunch of cinematic views, but I just want you all to understand the strategy. You can see it here. So I've already taken away the first building. There's the momentum. So we gain a little bit of melee attack. We can get up to 20% extra leader, extra vigor per second. So you can see that we're in good shape. I broke down their barricade. And we're going to continue to fire at their units. Let's get you some close-ups here. You can see the enemy trying to hide behind their barricades. I'm going to call in a bombardment here with my Frost Maiden. It's a pretty handy bombardment. It does more damage than the tier attack from Tzarina Katarin. Now, Katarin can dish out some major damage and protection. She's also good for slowing enemy units. So she does have her uses, but when it comes to bombardment damage right now, Frost Maiden's going to be a better use of your magic. So I let her do that work initially. You can see another unit of their javelins have come up, and they've actually started to get some volleys on me, so this is a bit of a mistake on my part. Let them get some damage done. You can see I've actually lost about 50% health in one of my units. Shouldn't have allowed that. But nevertheless, it's going okay. I'm not terribly worried. I'm going to come tear down this barricade. I'm going to get into their minor supply point. Let's go give you an update on the Snow Leopard and the Winged Lancers. Right now, they're just simply outmaneuvering the enemies who are trying to bottle us up, and the AI hasn't retaken their key buildings. So I'm going to continue to have this momentum. You can see I'm just going to juke them, and I'm going to keep going for these capture points and just stay ahead of the enemy. At this point, I have busted into their minor supply point. I'm going to capture it and continue to build momentum. Look at that, they died on the little rampart they had built. CA, please. It disappeared. Let the corpses hit the ground. Anyway, so there goes their supplies. And now what I'm going to do is split into two groups. And we're going to take one group for this minor supply point, and we're going to take another group to the other. And I like to keep a hero with each group, so Tzarina Katarin's going to go left, and the Frost Maiden is going to go right. Got to be careful with the Frost Maiden and Tzarina Katarin. They are not built for combat. They don't have all their spells at this point, so I like how she's like skating across the ice that just forms under her. It's pretty cool. So my Cassars are going to drive back these defenders. You can see that we've got a bear statue up here too. I like that. Nice Kislevite decorations. And the visuals on this game are nice. It is a big improvement over Game 2. All right, so we've got a good push into their next supply point. You can see it here. And Tzarina Katarin is approaching the other supply point. We've got a tower over here as well, and it's already putting fire down on her. And I have to be careful because she'll lose hit points. Like I said, you don't want these towers to just keep going. You can use missile units to destroy them. You can use flying units to destroy them. Units on the ground cannot destroy them, but you can also capture the supply point and destroy them that way. However, if an enemy is contesting that supply point, the tower will still be there while they contest it, and you'll take even more damage. So getting into a melee right here would be a mistake. We don't want the melee. So I'm going to start moving Katarin around to try and minimize her damage. Check out my cavalry, still just running enemy troops around everywhere. They won't let me capture anything else. And I'm keeping a bunch of their troops busy, and they can't commit them to the battle. It's hurting them. I just took away another minor supply point, so if I exit this view, we've now got a lot of momentum going. So we're getting some good stuff here. 12% melee attack, 6 leadership, and we're gaining vigor per second a lot faster here. Or we're losing vigor, a slower rate, I should say. Enemy tower is about to go down. I've used my ice guard over here to knock it down, as well as my armored hussars. There goes the tower. And I can now work on taking away this supply point as well. So we're making good progress. In the strategy here, split up into reasonable infantry groups. Use your speedy units to get in behind. Start capturing points. Use your magic to do damage when enemies are in a choke point. So see, like right there, they were going to move through a choke point. They ended up pulling back, which was the right move by the AI. So good to see the AI occasionally make the right move. It was definitely the right move. They were about to take considerable damage. AI is actually working to outflank me here too. They're going to bring another spear unit around over here and try to outflank this position. And meanwhile, I have captured another supply point. So we're taking away tower potential. My momentum is now up almost to full. We're getting hefty bonuses to our melee attack. So now if we get into a melee, it's going to be brutal. And the enemy leader, I used Katarin's magic on him to slow him down and ruin his charge speed, plus he got hit with frostbite. Here comes the ladies of the Ice Guard. They're going to absolutely shred him in melee here, especially with all the bonuses they're getting. Look at the stats here, 49 melee attack. They're going to be absolutely gruesome melee. Just look at his hit points drain there. Can't get his health to pull up. There it is. Yeah, you can just see his health just draining away. He's completely surrounded by anti-infantry entities. So Ice Guard, like I said, excellent secondary capability to take down key targets. AI is attempting to reinforce, but I cut off the reinforcements from helping Hargroth here. And now their spearmen are going to get into melee, but their spearmen have no prayer against the armored Cassars. My armored Cassars are not great in melee, but they're every bit a match for these Norskin spearmen. Just not really going to be too much a challenge. So got rid of their lord. I'm going to swing the Ice Guard over here to melee as well. There's a little bit of Katarin's magic there to hurt those spearmen, send them fleeing, and now we are really making progress towards finishing this fight. There's only one capture point left. AI is still working very hard to keep my cavalry out of it, though. However, like I said, I've kept several of their units busy, and now they have committed heavily into a melee on this flank, and I'm going to show you what the Frost Maiden is capable of. One of my armored Cassar units is in pretty deep here, unfortunately. I'm supporting with archer fire, and I'm going to support with magic. I'm going to carefully place this so as to not hit my own units, but to maximize death and damage among the enemy units, so that bombardment continues to pay dividends as the Frost Maiden bust up that melee, and the spearmen who attempted to outflank us are going to find that our Cassars are not great in melee, but they can hold their own against spearmen for at least a short period of time. So their outflanking maneuver against my archers will also falter and fail. And I've sent the Frost Maiden in behind the enemy troops here. I'm going to try and get a rear charge here in a moment. See if we can finish this thing off. Here it comes. Frost Maiden skating in for the rear charge, sending her enemies flying. And this battle is going to be over. So the enemy is going to crack from leadership losses and army losses, and then we have all the momentum essentially at this point. So that's how you win these battles. Split up, capture those points, hide your fast movers early, and use them to great effect at getting your first few supply points away from the enemy. That's how you get it done, folks. Use that mobility, keep behind your enemy lines, use your ice guards against infantry lords, because they're very good in melee against infantry, and then the Corsar archers are just helping you, but again, that speed is what it's all about. And of course, you can use your magic to good effect as well. So got some nice experience there, some treasury, and some more devotion. Plus, we're going to pick up the settlement of Kislev. And early in this campaign, we're going to be focusing absolutely everything on gaining supporters. You can see Kastalton picked up 8 on the last turn. No one knows how. It doesn't document it here. He didn't get it from buildings, didn't get it from events, but he got it. So yeah, I'm not surprised that he's jumping out to an early lead. We won the battle, but we haven't used our invocation yet, and nor do we have enough to do so at the moment. But we'll start making up for it. The first thing we're going to put in every one of these settlements, and I'd like to have growth, but we really need the devotion and the supporters, so I'm going to put that in. Eventually, that'll pay dividends to have all the extra supporters. I'm going to go in here and upgrade Katarin at this point, so I'm going to start off with Inspiring Presence. And right now, we don't have a ton of Ice Guards, so I'm going to focus on Cassars, because they're cheap archers that we're going to make good use of, and it also works towards the armored Cassars and those with great weapons as well. Now, our Frost Maiden, I'm going to focus on her magic. She's got some good magic here. This Gust of True Flight increases the range and accuracy of missiles, and if you get the upgraded version, it has an area of effect. And then you've also got Swift Wing, which will help out a unit in melee or with charge and speed. And then, of course, we got Biting Wind here, which is a nice wind spell. Does some good damage. So we'll focus on her magic to get started with. So yeah, good start here. I think we're doing okay. Time to end another turn. And we need to be recruiting for as long as we can support more troops. Now, we don't have much cash. Going to be pushing this one kind of up to the edge here. But I'm going to grab a couple of more units. If we take a look at upkeep cost, I'm going to go ahead and grab one more armored Cassar. Actually, that's the global. Yeah, it's going to take us a couple turns, but it'll be worth it. And then I'm going to grab a Cassar spear. And I think it's going to be pretty close. How far are we? Well, you know, if we're going to sit here for 2 turns, we might as well get 3 units out of it. The archers are really all we need here early. As long as we just have just enough infantry to hold back our enemy, we can survive with what we got. But we finished our first research. Got this convalescence. There are, again, many choices we can take at this point. Melee defense for Corsairs is pretty good. And then we've got other options here too. We can get them ammunition and reload time reduction, which, again, also pretty good. This one's going to make them do more damage. The other one is going to make them last longer. This one's going to make our Ice Guard have more ammunition. Not a lot, but it'll be more. And that can be handy as well. Local recruitment capacity increase. That one could be handy. So you have quite a few decent options in my opinion. I'm going to take the melee defense for Corsairs, because when they do get into melee, they're not fantastic, and we want to do everything we can to buff them up and last longer in combat. Because remember that Kislev relies on these hybrid units, and on their own merits, they're just not fantastic in melee. We are very low on funding now, which is to be expected in this type of campaign. I'm going to go ahead and get Gust of True Flight, so that spell can be quite useful. And then we're going to go ahead and push up at least part way to our objective. We can't reach it all on this turn, so I'm going to push up, save enough of my campaign movement range to go into an encamped stance. This will give us maximum replenishment, and we'll do some replenishment on that Armored Hussar, and then we'll attack Igorov on the next turn, which has also got a mission for us to be able to attack it and take it. I'm going to not show the fight for it because it's going to be too similar to what we're already doing, and it probably won't really be worth showing, especially considering that, yes, I'm still on these embargoes. I have limited time. I need to make sure that whatever I show you is the most important stuff. So I'm not going to show you this battle, though I am going to fight it because I don't trust the type of casualties they're going to hit me with here. All right, I used the same tactics, and it worked even better there. However, unfortunately, we're going to lose supporters because we're fighting Kislev. And unfortunately for us, Kastalton actually probably starts off like fighting more chaos than we do, so he's prone to getting more supporters than we do because we're killing other Kislevites, whereas he's killing chaos. So kind of sucks for us, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles at the beginning of this campaign. So we're going to still be locked down here low. Stoughton's off to a start, but I mean, you can see our buildings will start to make a difference. We've already got the building we need here. We've occupied the settlement. There's nothing else we can really do to recruit right now because we're pretty much low on troops. Fort Yakova is our next target. So let's end our turn and make for the fort. As soon as we're able to move, there's a trade agreement that they're offering here. We could go look for more of those with the quick deal. But I haven't gone because we can make some extra money off trade. It's going to be honestly kind of minimal, unfortunately. It won't be terribly high, so we're going to head off here. We do have a skill point. I'm going to dump it into firing drills. So now we're going to have max improvement on our armored Hussars. And also our Hussar spears will also have some nice improvements here. So good way to start off, get a little bit of extra out of our units. I'm going to go ahead and get Biting Wind. The next upgrade, I'll put it back into Gust of True Flight. That way we can get the area of effect on it. And there are occasions where it's handy. Not insane, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. This guy wants military access. He is fighting some of our enemies, but I don't really want him taking some of the land that I want, so I'm not going to grant it to him yet. Once I get my initial settlements, then I'll consider giving it to him. All right, so we finished our tech as well. It's good news. Another battle here. This time they have some Zargard in the garrison, but once again, I'm going to have to fight this. I don't have time to show it because I'm trying to just, limit the number of frivolous battles we spend here. You're going to see plenty of these. Let me go ahead and fight this one, and then I'll show you all the results. All right, that is another quality victory for us there. Unfortunately, we're going to lose more supporters. We continue to roll up Kislevites, but that is our lot in the campaign, as mentioned, and there isn't much we can do about it other than roll them up. Now we got to take Volksgrad to complete the province, and I do wish to do that, though I am running close to time on this episode. I think we can pull it off. We could go ahead and start upgrading our Ice Guard, or we could start working on the magic. As far as what we get for the Ice Guard, they're going to get extra melee attack and defense, at least a little, quite a bit when we get the final upgrade, so it's worth it. And they get extra missile strength as well. So let's go ahead and start that
With
upgrade.
this, I guard
Our army is
Kislev.
going to focus on these units, and we'll make it work. So I'm going to put that extra upgrade there in case we need Gust of True Flight to help us with some
Born to rule.
extra accuracy. Time for us to pick yet another research to take care of. We got missile resistance for horse archers and dervishes, which we're not using right now. Cold storage gives us extra growth across all provinces. Could be handy. It's a very small thing, but then we've also got Pirate's Weapon, which will make our
With this,
Cassars
we
stronger
stand against chaos.
from range, so let's do that. Their range attack is pretty powerful, and when used properly, can eat away at enemy health pretty effectively. Got a Frost Fang here, which is going to drop the upkeep cost of our army some. That is handy. I think that'll automatically apply to Tzarina Katarin. It did. The Trickster Shard we can put on our other
chaos.
character here, so let's do that. So now I'm going to force march back across here to Igorov, and we need to attack Volksgrad. Fort Yakova has some replenishment here, and this also generates a little bit of devotion, but it doesn't give us supporters. So I'm going to tear that down. I'm going to go with the option that's going to give us supporters. Like I said, we're going to start off kind of poor here. It's not ideal. See, Kislev is guarded.
No higher power.
So since we have walls and towers and stuff, we should be able to hold out. And if that's their army that has left Volksgrad to come harass us, then that leaves us in good shape to go take Volksgrad with hopefully minimal effort. But they may see me coming. I don't know. We're going to find out. They're still down here raiding, so I definitely think that's a mistake on their part. I intend to make them pay for it. Experiencing a storm. There's a storm that's going to cause us attrition if we don't stay in an encamped stance. I've got eyes on
I will
Volksgrad.
permit.
It doesn't have a garrison at the moment, so... And Kislev can be built up, so I'm going to do that. Again, we're running shy on money. That's not to be unexpected. Kislev's economy is a little bit slow. In the later, though, you can do well. I think some of the keys are you have to take the large cities. So like Kislev is a large city, Prague is a large city. You need those. They can actually generate the most income. There are trade goods, of course, as per usual in Total War that you can take advantage of, and you'll want to. It's just right now, I'm trying to build up all the extra devotion and supporters. It's a bit challenging early on. I'm going to quick save here and auto-resolve. And that is going to get us our first province in its entirety. So people hate us a little bit for fighting our own people. We are still gaining supporters. We're going to start gaining them faster. Like I said, Kostalton's facing chaos. As soon as we start facing them, we should be able to make up a little ground. Plus, we can play some dirty tricks on them later in order to get some advantages. So I feel like this is going to be a great start for a Kislev campaign. Got a couple of battles in to show you all the cinematics. I gave you some tactics on how to handle these smaller settlement battles. We've got Kislev growing up here, where we should be able to get to better units and more buildings. When we get more buildings, we can work on a little bit of income, and we'll probably need some protection eventually as well. But if you want to push it, you know, you can go a different route. I'll show you what I'm talking about. But in any case, there we go. There's your first province. Not a great start here in terms of supporters, but we'll turn that around. I'll show you how to do it, so don't worry about it. I've managed to do it successfully before. Look at this.
No!
Some chaos here who already wants to fight us.
Treason to guard
It's Hakan. Yeah, these guys are going to be tough. And this other faction's still in control of Prague as well. Surely they're at war with these guys.
Pay the blood toll for
They're a bunch of
forgetting your
traitors.
place.
They're really not. So, and they don't want any peace agreements with me, unfortunately, right now. Let's look at Quick Deal real quick. Just not a whole lot of stuff going on here in Quick Deal at the moment. But there we go. We've got it. We're started. Hope y'all enjoyed the first foray into Kislev campaign. This one will, of course, be back, and you will get to see more. And, of course, there will be more Tzeentch campaign. Again, remember, I'm under an embargo. I can only have 5 videos for the next week. It's irritating, but it is what it is. Eventually, we'll be out of this. I think it's actually a week from now they'll let me out of the embargo, and I can finally just start showing you all as much as I want. So I'm looking forward to that. HeirofCarthage, signing out for now.